The whiskey seared my throat like a knife as I forced out a laugh that didn't belong to me. Even Jake's got 10 times more than you. I slurred, the words spilling out like wine, red, reckless, impossible to clean. Tom froze mid-sip, his glass suspended like a blade. The dim living room light caught his eyes, making them glint with something I couldn't name. "How do you know?" he asked, voice low, a tremor of accusation threading through it. My stomach flipped. What was meant to wound his pride had cut much deeper. The air grew heavy with the scent of oak and betrayal. Tom and I had been married 7 years. 7 years of late-night takeout, shared playlists, and promises whispered in the dark. Lately, though, the silences stretched longer than the laughter. His phone vibrated at odd hours, always angled just out of my view. He'd started wearing cologne again, the kind he hadn't used since we were dating. Small things, all red flags I swatted away like flies. I told myself it was stress, a new promotion, late nights at the office. But that question, how do you know, tightened like a noose with every heartbeat. I forced a smile that trembled at the edges. It was a joke. "Tom, relax." My voice sounded empty, as if someone else had borrowed it. He didn't laugh. His jaw clenched, and he set his glass down with a sharp, deliberate clink against the table. The sound cut through the radiator's hum. "You've been spending a lot of time with Jake lately," he said without looking at me. The words weren't a question. They were a blade, testing how deep they could cut. Jake, Tom's college best friend. The guy who crashed on our couch after his divorce, who brought cheap beer and awful puns to our game nights. Jake with the easy grin, and the way his eyes lingered just a beat too long, when he thought I wouldn't notice. I'd never cross a line, but the accusation crawling out of Tom made my skin crawl. Was he projecting? Deflecting? My mind spun, chasing the threads of doubt I'd ignored for months. "I've barely seen Jake," I said, sharper than I meant to. "He's your friend." Even as I said it, memories flickered. Jake's hand brushing mine handed me a coffee. The way he actually asked about my day when Tom barely did. Harmless, I told myself. But Tom's dark, searching eyes made me question everything. The next morning the house felt like a hell breath. Tom left for work without a word. His coffee sat cold and untouched on the counter. I stood in the kitchen, linoleum cool under my bare feet, staring at the mug. A faint lipstick smudge rimmed the cup. Pink, not my shade. My heart thudded. A dull, spreading ache. I told myself it was nothing. A co-worker's cup, a mistake. But my hands shook when I opened his laptop, left carelessly on the dining table. The screen woke to life. His email was already open. I wasn't really snooping, just checking. My eyes skimmed the inbox until they landed on a name. Claire. No last name. Just Claire, a secret whispered in the dark. The subject line read, "Miss you already." My breath snagged in my throat. A jagged thing tore at my chest. I clicked. "Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. Same time tomorrow." The words blurred as tears stung my eyes. Below it, his reply, "You're killing me." Yes. My knees gave out and I grabbed the table, with biting into my palms. The room tilted. The fridge's hum swelled into a roar in my ears. Every email another wound. "You make me feel alive again. She doesn't suspect a thing. I love you, love." That word gutted me. I'd whispered to him just last week, curled against his chest, believing we were still us. It was a lie smeared in lipstick and late-night messages. I wanted to scream, to smash his mug against the wall, to burn the house down with him inside. But I didn't. I sat frozen as the truth settled in. My husband had become a stranger. I must have been there a long time, blinked by the laptop's glow, when the front door clicked and I flinched. Tom wasn't scheduled home for hours. Footsteps, too light, too hesitant, echoed down the hall. "Hello." Jake's voice, tentative and warm. I slammed the laptop closed, heart pounding. "In here," I called, my voice cracking. Jake filled the doorway, flannel rumpled, hair still damp. "You okay, Sarah?" he asked, brow furrowed. He'd always known when something was wrong, like he could smell it on me. I wanted to hate him for being the person who was there when Tom wasn't, for making me question my own loyalty. I'm fine, I lied, forcing a smile that felt like a grimace. He didn't buy it. He stepped closer. His cedarwood aftershave reached me, and my traitorous heart stuttered. "You're not," he said softly. "What's he done now?" His question sparked a flame in the dry forest of my anger. I opened my mouth to deflect, and instead the truth spilled out. "He's cheating," I whispered. The words tasted like ashes. Jake's face hardened, but his eyes stayed soft, searching mine. "With who?" he asked, though something in his tone said he already knew. "Claire." I said, the name a knife to my chest. Jake's jaw tightened, and he looked away, fists clenching. "I saw her with him," he admitted quietly. "Last week at that bar downtown." I didn't want to believe it. His words landed like a punch, stealing my breath. He'd known. He'd known and said nothing. "Why didn't you tell me?" I demanded, my voice rising, raw with betrayal. Jake met my gaze, unguarded. "I didn't want to hurt you," he said. "I thought maybe it was a one-time thing." I didn't know he'd keep going. He swallowed. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry." The apology felt empty and cheap. I paced the kitchen, bare feet slapping the cold floor, anger burning bright and reckless through the heartbreak. I wanted Tom to feel this, the gutting, the raw pain. And Jake, who'd kept his mouth shut while I unraveled, stood in my kitchen offering apologies I didn't want. "What do we do?" I asked, voice trembling with fury and something darker. Jake stepped in closer, his hand hovering near mine, but not quite touching. "Whatever you want," he said, steady but laced with something dangerous. "You want revenge. I'm in." Revenge hung between us, electric and forbidden. I pictured Tom's smug, unrepentant face, and my resolve hardened. "I want him to hurt," I said, voice of strangers, cold, precise, and cutting. Jake nodded slowly, deliberate, eyes locked on mine. Over the next week we planned. Jake knew Tom's routines, his little habits, where he would be, when. We'd catch him with Claire, expose him where he couldn't deny it. The idea thrilled me and made me sick, a heady mix of guilt and fury. Nights I lay awake while Tom snored beside me, imagining the confrontation, watching his lies collapse. The Friday night came, heavy with the threat of rain. Jake drove us to the bar where Tom met her. The neon sign outside buzzed like a bad omen. My heart pounded as we slipped inside. The air smelled of stale beer and perfume, and there in a shadowed booth sat Tom, his hand on her thigh, her laugh slicing through the noise. Claire, blonde, radiant, everything I wasn't. I stepped forward, Jake's hand at my back like a brace. "Tom," I said, my voice ablade. He turned, face blanching, lipstick smeared on his collar. "Sarah," he started, but I cut him off. "Don't." The word fell final, a guillotine dropping. Claire's eyes widened. She said nothing, silence damning on its own. Jake moved in, voice low and venomous. "You thought you could hide this?"